Posted by you, I can't sleep anymore. I don't even know where to start. This has been eating away at me for months now, and if I don't get it out somewhere, I think I might lose my mind completely. The house, it started last fall. My wife and I had just bought our first house, a big deal for us. We'd saved for years. The place was beautiful. 1940s colonial, 3 stories, finished basement, big backyard, quiet neighborhood. Everything about it felt perfect. Except, it was too cheap. I figured we got lucky. The market was insane, but this place had been sitting for months. Maybe people were scared off by the age of the home, or maybe they didn't want to deal with the unfinished attic. Looking back, I realize now there's always a reason. The attic door. The first weird thing happened about 2 weeks after we moved in. I was storing some boxes in the attic when I noticed something odd. One wall sounded hollow. Not just thin drywall hollow, but like there was empty space behind it. The attic layout was weird anyway, slightly asymmetrical, but I chalked it up to old construction quirks. That night, out of pure curiosity, I knocked around, tapping different spots. And sure enough, behind a stack of old insulation boards, there was a seam in the wall. Almost like a door, but there was no handle, just a faint outline. The discovery, I told my wife about it, but she brushed it off. "You're probably just imagining it," she said, but I couldn't let it go. So I went back up there the next day with a flathead screwdriver, gently prying along the seam. To my surprise, the panel popped loose. Behind it was a small, dark opening, about 3 feet wide by 5 feet tall, just enough for someone to squeeze through. The air coming out was stale, thick with dust. I shone my flashlight inside. It wasn't just a crawl space. It was a room, about 8 feet long, completely sealed off. No windows, no vents, just bare wooden walls, and in the middle of the room, a small child's bed. The bed was ancient, rusted metal frame, stained mattress. There was also a wooden toy box at the foot of it. The whole room felt wrong. I don't know how else to explain it. Like the air was heavier inside. My skin crawled the moment I stepped through. I opened the toy box. Inside were a few old dolls, porcelain faces, cracked paint, and a handful of wooden blocks with faded letters on them. And under that, a leather-bound journal. The journal. The entries were written in shaky handwriting. They put me here when I make noise. Sometimes I hear the scratching from the walls. Mama says I need to be quiet so it doesn't get angry. I don't like the nights. One entry stuck with me. The thing in the walls moves around when it's hungry. I felt sick reading it. My flashlight flickered for a moment, which spooked me enough to leave the room. I resealed the wall, put everything back, and tried to pretend it was just history. Maybe an old punishment room. Some kind of sick parenting from decades ago. The previous owners never mentioned anything. The realtor didn't either. I wish I had left it alone. The noises were. About a week later, things started happening. At first it was subtle. Scratching sounds coming from the attic at night, then light tapping behind our bedroom wall. I thought maybe it was mice, or even raccoons in the roof. We called pest control. They found nothing. The noises got louder, heavier, almost like something was dragging itself inside the walls. At night, it would move, slowly, rhythmically, like pacing. My wife started hearing it too. The breathing embered. One night, I couldn't sleep. The scratching started again, but this time it moved closer. I swear I heard it directly behind our headboard. Then, breathing. Slow, raspy breathing. I froze. My wife whispered, "Do you hear that?" I didn't even answer. I just grabbed her hand and we sat there, wide-eyed, listening. The breathing continued for nearly 20 minutes, and then it stopped. The next morning, there were long, thin scratch marks along the drywall behind our bed. The camera, I couldn't take it anymore. I bought one of those small inspection cameras, the kind you snake into tight spaces. I drilled a tiny hole near the attic seam and fed the camera into the hidden room. The room was empty, same bed, same toy box, but in the corner, high near the ceiling, I saw it, a hole, roughly carved leading deeper into the house. That's how it was moving. A few nights later, I decided to stay up. At around 2:47 a.m., I heard it, scraping, dragging. This time, I had my phone recording. The sound got louder, closer, until it felt like it was right inside the bedroom wall. I whispered my wife's name. She was already awake, staring at the ceiling. That's when we both heard it. Hun, Gry. It spoke. a faint, broken whisper, like dry vocal cords trying to form words. We left the house that night. The aftermath. We moved into a hotel and called in a contractor the next morning. I told him everything, the secret room, the hole, the noises. They started demolition on the attic. Inside the wall tunnels, they found piles of old bones, small animal bones, rats, birds, and a few larger ones they couldn't identify. The official report said feral infestation. No explanation for the voice. No explanation for the scratches on the inside of the bedroom walls. The authorities weren't interested. The contractor said we were lucky it hadn't collapsed. But I know what I heard. We sold the house at a massive loss and moved halfway across the country. I still don't sleep well. The dream I've started having recurring dreams. In them, I'm back in that room. The bed is empty. The toy box is open, and something crawls slowly out of the hole in the corner. Each time, I wake up before I see its face. I don't know who built that room. I don't know who or what was living in there. But if you ever find a secret room in your house, don't open it. TLDR, found a sealed-off room in my attic with a child's bed, creepy journal, and tunnel system inside the walls. Something was still living in there. Update 1, posted by You I Can't Sleep Anymore, 2 weeks later. First, thank you to everyone who commented, messaged, or even just read my story. I honestly didn't expect so many people to respond, and some of your theories still give me chills. I wish I could say things got better. They didn't. After we moved out and the house was sold, I tried to move on. We both started therapy. My wife, I'll call her Sarah from now on, still has nightmares. She wakes up gasping, sometimes swearing she hears the scratching again, even though we're hundreds of miles away now. But about a week ago, something new happened. We received a package. There was no return address, just a small plain brown box delivered to our door. Inside was one of the porcelain dolls from the hidden room. Same cracked face, same faded paint. Its glass eyes wide open, staring straight up. Taped to its tiny hand was a single sheet of yellowed paper that simply read, "You found it." My stomach dropped. I thought maybe one of the contractors kept it and was playing a sick joke, but we'd moved across several states. No one should have our new address. Sarah started crying the second she saw it. She didn't sleep that night. Neither did I. The next day, I took the box straight to the police. They were polite, but basically useless. Could be a prank. Maybe someone followed you. Do you have any enemies? Enemies? I can't even think of anyone who knew about that room besides the realtor, the contractor, and the readers here. But I've never given identifying information online, and I made sure not to post photos. For now, we've installed extra security cameras, motion lights, alarms, everything. But part of me can't shake the feeling that it followed us, that something attached itself to that room, and now it knows where we are. Update 2, posted by You I Can't Sleep Anymore. 1 month later, I honestly debated whether to even post this, but I think it's important. Things escalated, badly. Roughly 2 weeks after the doll arrived, the scratching noises came back. Not in the house, but in our garage. At first, I thought maybe it was rodents. We live near wooded areas, so it's not uncommon. But then Sarah and I both heard it at 3:13 a.m., the exact time the noises always started in the old house. Only this time, it wasn't just scratching. We heard soft footsteps, shuffling, and again, faint, labored breathing. I gathered enough courage to check the garage with a flashlight and a baseball bat. There was nothing. Except, in the far corner, someone or something had stacked boxes to form a makeshift little alcove. Like a small shelter. Inside that alcove, another old wooden block, identical to the ones from the toy chest, the letter H on it. We don't know if that means anything, but it matches the journal's writing, H. Hun Gri. At this point, we left again. We're staying at Sarah's sister's house indefinitely. We're meeting with paranormal investigators next week, something I never thought I would say in my life. I don't know what this is anymore. Is it physical? Is it supernatural? All I know is that wherever we go, it seems to follow. Final note for now, if you're reading this, if you ever find a sealed room, an old journal, or hear something moving inside your walls, do not open it. Some doors were never meant to be unlocked. TLDR, after finding a secret room in our house, things followed us. Strange packages, noises, and signs suggest it's not over.